How are things looking fundamentally?
Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Hi. All right. I'm just going to share a screen and pretty interesting because I think I have been actually looking at or waiting for a bullish US dollar for quite a while, and hearing Julian said that made me pretty happy, or at least pretty excited, that maybe we could find some of our opportunities coming in. So let me just do a quick recap on what we are looking at, or what I have been waiting for is the what's been happening is the inflation rate has been pretty high, yes, but my eye has always been on the US jobless rate. So again, previously, what are the circumstances at which the Fed will consider raising its really low interest rates at the moment is, hypothetically, there is some kind of relation that's happening between its its it's a job numbers. So this is the unemployment rate, and if we actually do a comparison between its unemployment rate and where its interest rates have started going up, is where, somewhere between the 4 to 5.5% area. So if you actually compare the correlation with that, when people are employed, where I think it's kind of makes sense, because if people have jobs, means that they have money, therefore they have a higher propensity to be able to spend a bit more. So interest rates are able to go up without too much negative impact on consumers, right? So with the jobless rates actually dipping to slightly below 6%. So previously, I was waiting for jobless rate to come back below. It's finally touched 5.8%. Hopefully, the next unemployment rate will come down a little bit more, and then I think the so-called noise about whether the Fed will increase its interest rates might come into fruition at that point. So they might not pop up the interest rates like now, but let's just see what the meeting this coming Thursday is about. I think they're having a monetary policy meeting coming right out on. Is that Thursday? Let me just do a quick check on the Forex Factory calendar to make sure I'm getting the right dates. So we have the monetary policy news, the FOMC statements coming out on this Thursday. Let's just look at this. All right, back to the simple Forex Factory calendar. Now we have FOMC statements over here, and what I am interested in is the Friday, where the Japanese yen, or the Bank of Japan, will be coming. Um, I'm not sure if they are redefining their monetary policy statement, but I think a lot of eyes are on this as well, to see what will be their decision on what's happening in their economy. All right, I do like the numbers that are coming out of the U.S. still. Um, Other than the insanely high inflation rate, and the reason why I say insanely high is because I think if we compare it over maybe the past 25 years, you can see that, it has, the last time it popped above 4% was in 2012, probably. No, before then, I think 2007, 2008, around here. It's one of the very few times it went into a big bubble, and then after that the financial crisis happened and everything just plunged back forward. So we are reaching numbers back then. Now if we are just talking about patterns, what is going to happen, is something major going to be happening here? Is this the stock market bubble we're talking about? Again, big question mark. But again, historically, for inflation to sustain over 4%, the last time it happened was what, 2005 to 2006 region. I would say this is nearing the 2008, 2007, 08 region, I guess, before things started changing. So I am a little bit curious as what's going to happen to shift inflation back down, or to increase interest rates back up. And with that, of course, again, my definitely medium term bullish, especially on the US dollar. So if we look at the price charts that we're looking at, what I am looking to see next week, the next few weeks actually, is whether or not something will change on the US dollar front. So if we take a look at the charts, let me remove the squiggles. These are my past squiggles, where again I am waiting for, or I am very a bit more keen on the bullish USD, and about using the technical setups to find a way to enter these. So dollar yen again has been ranging upward. I would say you can see the daily candles, have kind of is on an upward slope. So again, I'm a bit more hesitant on the dollar yen because of the monetary policy that comes up. And did I? Okay, sorry, my screen went blank for a bit. Um, okay, I'm hesitant on the dollar yen because of the monetary policy next week. So I'll be a bit more careful if I'm trading the dollar yen. But if I'm looking at the other dollar pairs, I would say there is an opportunity for some kind of breakout to happen. Really depending on what's going to happen, I guess, on the news front to give us that catalyst to push up. My interest has always been on the dollar sing. For those of you who have been following the dollar sing with me from the start, I think on the shorter time frames there will be opportunities to the long side, especially every time it touches about a 1.32, 1.31 high area. So overall, I definitely would be long on the dollar, between the dollar and the sing. So it's really using the fundamental understanding of the MES, the MES, how you say, regulation of the sing dollar to take the long opportunities and to be really careful when going short on the dollar. Again, a lot of the dollar pairs are looking at consolidation. So I guess the news is the catalyst that will give us that breakout. You can see the dollar all really ranging for the past, I think, month or so. Okay, so let's just see what next week brings us in terms of whether or not. I think when there are news to when the news comes out about increasing interest rates, I think this will give us the pop that we need. Also, another key indicator or key thing that we've noticed is, I think for the past, I would say a month and a half, if we look at the headlines, there are a lot of things on Bitcoin, right? Like maybe 8 out of 10 currency news, just currency news are on Bitcoin. Um, I think the last couple of days, especially the hype on Bitcoin has kind of flattened a little while, flattened a little bit as people are kind of waiting for things to happen, and there are more stuff coming up on things like bonds, things like inflation, um, so I do see more currency news coming back into the market, which gives us which is rather exciting. It would mean that our range bound trading might be ending soon. So I think exciting times are coming on the forex front where we should kind of see a direction pretty soon. So I guess next week we'll just keep an eye on the news and see what pops up to give us that catalyst to kind of push currencies one way. Last thing I want to touch on again is on the renminbi, the CNY. So there is a lot of pushback on the political front for the Chinese government, versus the US government. I think the sentiment on that end is still not that fantastic. Relations are still not improving, and if we look, and there are policies that I think um, the US are working on to kind of, and even the EU, they are working on to kind of curb their Chinese counterparts, or they are pretty much worried about how fast China is up and coming. So that brings us again to the CNY USD. You can see that the first lower high on the daily time frame has already happened. That pushback against the China economy has happened and is reflected in their currency as well. Um, so in that aspect, right, I am waiting to see whether the Aussies will follow suit. I think the first one to kind of react would be, let me see where. I think they haven't quite reacted yet, but we do have a very flat range bound trades for quite a number of pairs. I'm still a little bit bearish on the Aussie, and again, I think the Aussie looks a bit more breakout-ish, so I am waiting for that signal to happen to kind of follow suit on the depression of the Chinese currency. So I'm a bit more bearish on the Aussie, and in that aspect, if you look at just glance at the Aussie pairs on Friday, it's like everything on the Aussie is red except for Aussie Kiwi, but everything is red on the Aussie side. So I guess next Monday, Tuesday will be pretty interesting to see whether that horizontal levels are broken down and whether or not this worry about the political situation in China would kind of affect the currency strength of the Australian dollar as well. So currency pairs I'm looking forward to in the next 2 weeks would still be Aussie short and dollar longs. Hopefully, the technical setup will come and we will finish this 2 weeks of consolidation and finally get a direction somewhere. That's all I have, Paul. Thank you very much.
Alexis, thanks for that. It's nice to see some clarity coming into these